guys, back again with another Monday Markups. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Courtney, aka Pivot's Queen, and I'm here to give you my analysis for the week. So, if you watched last week's video, then you know I was saying I was going to go live this Monday. But I actually did a poll on my Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, I highly suggest that because I'm very interactive there. But I did a poll on my Instagram, and majority, it's kind of mixed, but majority suggested that I just record a video and post it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hopefully you hear me over the rain because it's raining like crazy here. But I'm just gonna review the analysis I gave last week, kind of show the outcome of those, and then give my analysis for what I think I'm gonna see this week. I guess I'll just leave these as recorded videos, and I'll just let you guys comment down below. If you want me to go live, comment down below in the comments live, and I'll start doing these lives. But until I see comments generating, I'm gonna just go ahead and keep recording these and then posting them up. Another thing I wanted to ask real quick before I hop into the video is I want to have a way to update you guys on the trades, like how they played out. So I'm debating if I want to make a Telegram or a Discord. So if you could also comment down below if you would prefer for me to make a Telegram chat just to update you guys, like say, hey, broke this trend line, boom, boom. Or if you want a Discord. So if you want a Discord group and me just give you updates on the trades that I go over on these Monday markups. Just gonna go over what I analyzed last week. A couple things I feel like I didn't mention last week. When I'm trading forex pairs, I'm looking to get about 50 to 100 pips with those trades. So I kind of like TP along the way in my trades. So I usually have like multiple entries when I enter, and I have usually like a TP1 around 20 pips, a TP2 is usually like 50 pips, and so on and so forth. So if like the whole move I'm looking for is like 100 pips, and in this case scenario went like 50 pips, that's why I'm kind of throwing that note out there. So throwing that out there for one. And yeah, so let's just see what happened last week. So for AU, I know I marked it up and I said I was expecting it to buy up to this zone just because we were at the 50. I saw a little bit of divergence and we broke this minor trend line. So once price broke this trend line, I actually entered. I know I said I was waiting to get in for above the green box, but I actually got in there. Price went about 75 pips in profit. I actually TP'd a little lower. I TP'd around here because that was just like a support resistance kind of level. Price ended up coming back down, and it actually broke through this major trend line that I had. We do have bullish divergence forming on it now. So with AU, I'm actually going to be patient with this one. For this week though, I'm going to draw a new trend line. So this is a minor trend line. If I get in for a buy, I'll be looking for a break and retest of this trend line, and I really only would take it back up to this box and then see what price does after it comes to retest this zone, because it could come back down or it could continue going further up. So for AU, I will wait for a break and retest of this trend line for a buy. And if we respect this trend line, I'll be looking to take it probably down to my next zone. All right, so I like to draw my trend lines on the line chart. That's just me. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for AU, because we do have this bullish divergence. And I think I was mentioning last week, when it's not in that oversold area like it was here, that means there's room for it to keep coming down. This divergence actually is in that oversold area, so we could see a little push up. We have to keep our eye on the DXY, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to that one really quick since we're talking about it. So the DXY, I think when I was talking about it last week, I said that I wanted it to push up to the -27, come back down and test this trend line and then see what it does. So it pushed up to minus 27. It came close to the trend line and then continued to push up. Right, so with the DXY continuing to move up, our opposite pairs are going to move down. Let me go to the 4 hour and see if there's any other zones I could draw and drag over. Just drawing and dragging this over. This is a 4 hour zone that the DXY has just reached. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it actually push up to the minus 61.8. So I would definitely keep an eye on the DXY. If it continues to push up more, then we could expect AUEU to push down some more. And then if it actually respects this zone, then we can see it coming back to this trend line and kind of waiting to see what happens like we did in this last instance. So for AJ, I was waiting for it to get below the zone actually in for sales. It never got below my zone. I drew this trend line to kind of follow it, and it didn't break the trend line until here. So I'm interested to see how price reacts. We did have some bearish divergence. I would probably wait for another bearish divergence to be sure on that one, just because it just really been consolidating. Like if I were to draw zones on this, between like this monthly and like this one up here, price has really been consolidating, which is not surprising because price tends to consolidate around monthly and weekly levels. So I'm really waiting for price to break out of this zone, either top side or bottom side, before I'm looking to get into AJ. So this week is another week where I don't really see a clean setup for AJ unless I get bearish divergence again underneath this trend line. And if I do, I probably take it down to this zone. But I really wanted to break out of this zone bottom side before I start really looking for sales for AJ. For EU, I remember last week I said if price breaks above this trend line to look for buys to this zone, and if it breaks below this trend line or below this zone, look for it to sell to this weekly level. So I actually kind of was just getting in and out of EU. I got into a sell here, and I only took it for like 20 pips. So 20 pips was like here. It actually went about 56 pips. And then when I looked at EU again, I got into a buy when it broke this trend line, and I got in for 30 pips. Let's see. So this was about 30 pips. It went about 40 pips in profit. And then when this happened, this was actually around news time too. And I know it's scary to trade news. And it's very hard to teach how to trade news. Like it took me forever to learn it. But just from the news reports that I saw coming out, once I saw a price break below this trend line, did I see? And it was a little bit of divergence. It didn't pop up on the indicator, but I could see it's a little bit of divergence. I got into a sell and I actually took it to the weekly, and that was 93 pips. So EU was a little tricky. But now that we're at the weekly, we can expect some consolidation. And I actually don't have a clean setup for EU. I'm gonna take a peek at pivots. As usually my go-to, and I'm like, I'm not sure. So you can see EU probably come back up to this trend line. I don't have a clean setup for EU for this week, so I don't really trade Forex that often. I'm trying to get back into it. I mainly trade NAS, and I'm definitely going to go over NAS after I go over Forex. So I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things with Forex, so bear with me. But I'm trying to get, more pairs out there for you guys. I know not everyone trades NAS. You have to work your way up to that. So that was my setup for you for last week. This week, I kind of don't have anything. If I start to see bullish divergence, then we'll probably start to look for buys, but I would rather buy above this trend line. So I'm really waiting to see if price comes back to this trend line and then how it reacts from there. And then GJ, I think when I went over this, price had already broke above this structure. Once price started to pull back down to this trend line, I kind of just drew the fib on this being my A, my B. Price came close to like the 50, but the 38 too. So I ended up getting in for a buy here. And I took it to my minus 61.8. So that trade kind of played out last week. And then this week we're near a monthly level. So a lot of places we're going to have consolidation. And I wouldn't feel safe selling GJ until it breaks underneath this trend line that I've been waiting for it to break beneath for me to sell for the longest. So I would say wait for it to get back to this trend line to kind of see what price does. I want to draw a fib, but I don't know if this is going to be the high or not. So this is like a temporary fib or like a moving fib because price could push higher before I'm able to draw like a true high on this. Hopefully that makes sense. But price could pull back here. That'd be my 38. And move up further, or price could break below this trend line. I'll probably wait for a break and retest and sell from here. So again, waiting for price to get to the trend line to see what it's going to do. And this fib could change if this pushes higher and makes like a new high. So those are my thoughts for GJ. Gold. I think gold was somewhere in here. Yeah, because price had already pushed up and pushed down, and that was what I was looking for. So I was like, you could trade gold up to this minus 61.8. So this is where I ended up getting in, and I traded it up to that minus 61.8 there. Once I saw price break above this structure and it came back down to retest, I got into another buy looking to take it to the monthly. I had to get in twice because when I first got in, it hit my stop loss. So I got back in again and then it hit my TP. So stop losses happen, but I kind of trusted my trade. It just looks like a break and retest of this zone. So I just took it to the monthly level. So now for gold, let me draw a trend line real quick. So now that I've added this trend line for gold, again, we are at a monthly level. So we could see some consolidation. If I see price break below this trend line and below this zone, I would just take it down to this next zone. I also will be looking for probably some divergence for confirmation after the trend line break. I know divergence could be really confusing, especially on gold because it was like bearish divergence, but it was fine. So it takes practice. And I mainly kind of go zone to zone with gold and use my fibs more so than I use my divergence really with gold. But I do try to look for divergence on the lower time frames when I'm looking for my entries. Let's see, we could possibly draw a fib. From there, so we could see price come here and retrace. So we have to wait and see. I'm gonna leave that there. I like drawing a fib on that structure because that kind of broke us out of this consolidation zone. And if we do see reversal at this minus 61.8, we could see it going further. But for my move for right now, because we're not gonna look too far into the future, I want to see if price respects this trend line and continues moving further, or breaks this trend line, kind of break below this zone, and I'll look to take it to the next zone. That's my setup for gold. I had a lot of fun with NAS last week. Let's go back to where we were. I'm actually go down to the 15-minute for NAS. So that's kind of where I get my entries. So last week for NAS, I had drew this trend line, and I said I was waiting for a break and retest of this trend line. Once I saw this break and retest, this was actually kind of London. When this happened, I got into this trade for this buy. Even if he got in for the move for New York, he still could have caught this move kind of 8:15. Yeah, this happened at 8:30. So if you woke up early at like 7, you could have gotten in that retracement. I also wanted to show, I think this divergence happened when I recorded the call. So there was divergence for confirmation, break and retest of the trend line. So I took it to kind of near the top of this trend line. So that's where my TP was. So that was about 2,000 pips. Then what ended up happening is price came and it made this double top at this zone. I could have dragged it out further because it actually reached there too. So once I saw the double top, I was like, okay. And there was a little bit of divergence. It didn't point it out, but if you see, this is just, even, but this is down. So there's divergence there. This was around like 10:15. So I took it back down to the green zone. And these arrows are what I was expecting Nas to do for the week, but you have to trade what you see and not what you think. So once I saw the double top and the divergence, I was like, okay, I can sell it back down. Really, my main TP was back to this trend line, but I held one back down to that zone. So then the next day, once I saw price kind of break above this trend or above the trend line and kind of retest that zone again, it almost made like a triple bottom. I got in a buy here thinking I could take it to this green zone. Price almost got there. It kind of just TP'd out at the zone. I made sure I had a TP there too. So that was that trade analysis. And what days were these? So this was Monday night. So Sunday, London, or not Sunday, Tuesday, London, right? Then this was Tuesday after opening bell. And then this was Wednesday, right? So now this is Thursday. I'm going over my whole week with you guys. But this was Thursday. I ended up getting into a sell mainly because of the bigger structure that I had. So I drew a fib, this being my A, and when this finally pulled back, that was my B. This level right here is actually my 50. So I sold it once here, and then when it came to my 50 again, I was looking for sales. And once I saw this this trend line, I was really determining it on price. I was like, okay, if price breaks above this trend line in this zone, I'm gonna buy it up to this green box. And if price respects this trend line, then I'm gonna sell it down. It respected the trend line, so I sold it down. I just sold it to my green box, but I really could have took it. It almost came to my minus 27 of my bigger fib. All right, so that was all last week. So this week, start the week off, same thing, really. I drew my trend line, right? When price broke this trend line, I honestly wasn't ready to get into the trade. But where this yellow circle is where I would have got in for my initial buy entry. But it's okay. I woke up today, a little bit right before opening bell, and ended up getting into this trade twice. So I drew my fib A to B, and I was looking for price to come to this purple zone. But once I saw how opening bell opened up, and it just opened up in such a strong buy, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it at least to my minus 61.8. But overall, I'm looking to take it to my blue zone, right? So I had my major TP here. I actually had a TP at this high that it hit, and then it came back down, and it closed me out in profit for my other entries. And I had an alarm set on this trend line, and once that alarm went off and I came and checked, I was like, oh yes, I got into another buy. So this setup actually already played out. So this would have been like, I might start recording these on Sunday and dropping them. I don't know how this is going to work out, because a lot of my trades play out kind of early. And Mondays are usually a good day, which is why I like to do Monday markups. But this was a nice trade. I just saw this level here. This was also like my 50-61.8 zone. And this is my trend line from the buy structure. It started once it broke this trend line. So once I saw price reverse there, I got in for another buy. So for this first buy at opening bell, I caught 1,030 pips. And then for the second buy, and this happened around 12:30, right? I got in again, and this was for, I don't think it quite hit that TP, but about 1,910 pips, right? So pretty nice moves on NAS. What I see for this week, so now let me zoom out a little bit. So that was a minor structure, and that already kind of played out. But for my major structure, I have this new fib structure from when it broke this level where that triple bottom was. So I was talking about that last week. It made this triple bottom. It made this triple bottom at this very strong 4-hour structure. And it finally broke through it, so I drew a fib on it. My 618 lines up with this blue zone and this trend line that I have drawn from these last 2 points, that's A and B. So I want to see how price reacts at this trend line, if we're going to see it respect this trend line and come back down. And if we do, I'll be looking to take it definitely back to the green zone, and then if it breaks below there, maybe possibly to this purple zone. It might take time to get there, so I would just kind of say find different levels throughout the way. Like this purple zone could be a level, this last low could be a level, my minus 32 would be a level, like TP along the way. But ultimately, if we do respect that trend line, I could see it coming down to this purple zone. If we break above the trend line, so break retest, I'd be looking to take it to this green zone or this blue zone. So again, like with a lot of the other pairs I went over today, it's going to be a matter of waiting for things to get to the trend line. But hopefully through watching these calls, you kind of get more familiar with trend lines and waiting for your break and retest. Definitely working on a course to teach you how I trade exactly step by step. If this looks a little bit confusing, and like I said, if fibs aren't your thing, then this isn't going to be for you. But hopefully you guys got some gems from this. I'm sorry I didn't have no direct setups for you like I did last week. But when we see large or quick moves in the market, like we saw, especially last week, we tend to see a lot of consolidation after big moves, and then we see another big move. So I'm expecting some consolidation from these pairs, and then next week we should be set up for some real big moves, or possibly at the end of this week. So be on the lookout for those trades. Comment down below anything that you want me to cover or anything that I missed. Make sure you like this video, you subscribe to this channel for more videos, and I will see you all in the next video. Happy Monday.